I'm going to go through some of the Spoke Code Playground features. I'm going to start by plugging in my board. So here is Spoke. Now I'm just going to rest it on the packaging. So we're going to go to the Play tab on the website, and then we're going to go to the Spoke Code Playground. This browser, this web page allows us to edit the code, load templates, test things out, and change all of the code on the board to do whatever we want. So the first step is to open up the code.py file on the board. So it comes up as a mass storage device, and there's a file there called code. Click on code, and that will load up whatever code is on there. So currently it is the default code. So if I click on the default code again, it will just make sure that that is the current default code. If I want to check for if any errors go, if I change things and I don't quite get it right, and I want to see what errors turn up, I can click Connect Serial, and that will allow me to see anything on the board itself that's come up in this little window down here. And I'm also going to connect the MIDI, because this is mostly a MIDI controller, but I'll show you some other stuff it can do that isn't MIDI later on. So I've clicked MIDI, so now if I touch these, it will play MIDI. Now, in the default code, these numbers at the top here, these are the notes assigned to each pin. So the very first note is note number 98 right here. If I change 98 to, say, 58, and then save it to the board will do a little recalibration, a little rainbow wheel, and then as soon as that's done, you can see that that note is a lot lower. So let's bring that back to 98, then save to board, little rainbow, then that is back to 98. There's lots of other bits in the code you can play around with, but for now we'll go through some of the examples. Let's say I want to completely change what kind of mode it does. So there's an option here called Sequencer. So if I click on Sequencer and save this to the board, and what this code has is a series of different notes in different scales. So it will tell you what scale they're in. And now if I hold down one of the pins, it will play through those notes instead. I can also use the arpeggiator one. So this one, if I click Save to Board, what this does is, if I so it will go through those notes. Now in this one, there is an option up here to change the tempo. So 120 BPM, fairly slow. I'm going to change that to 220, and then every time you change the code, you need to save it to the board. All the code runs on the hardware, not on the browser. So now that I've changed the speed, let's make it even faster. Let's bring it up way up to 440, and then do save to board. Because we've changed the code, we need to upload it again. So now I'll go. Much cooler. Right. Next one. There is a template to play around with the lights. So the lights on the Spoke are pretty cool. They are NeoPixel lights, and they're completely customizable. So this example code gives you lots of different patterns and things that they can do. So when you touch a pin, it will play one of the modes for the lights. So every light can be any color, and you can do animations with them, and you can do lots of cool stuff. So these examples on the board here, each one is assigned to a different pin, and you can just, if you wanted those in your project, when you are using your touch sensing things, then you could just copy and paste some of these examples. Another thing that Spoke can do is be a keyboard. So if I click on the letters template and save to board, what this does is each pen is now assigned to a key press on the keyboard. So if I were to, at the moment, the letters and a spacebar at the end. So if I start typing, I'm going to do a hashtag so it doesn't recognize it. So if I start pressing the keys now, I will be able to get letters. So I could say, build a giant keyboard out of carrots and then write an email on my vegetables. Another good example is the gaming one. So this one maps each pin to a different command, a different key press. And this example is saved to the Minecraft key bindings. So with this one, each of those NeoPixel lights is now one of those commands. So we've got first four green ones are WASD, which are the movement ones. Then we've got pad 5 and 6 are the jump and the sneak. So each of the colors helps us identify which of the commands are which. And yeah, there's lots of other templates you can do on here. There is a mode to turn into a step sequencer. There's this one was quite fun. I forgot to show you this. This one allows you to build your own custom scales. So if we go to C major and we do generate code and then save to board, then this will be in the C major scale. If we go to C minor and then do generate code and then save to board, this will now be in C minor. But then you can also, if you don't want to individually edit your pins in the code, there are drop-down menus, so you can assign each pin to whatever MIDI note you want. You click generate code and that automatically puts it into your code up here, that one, and then when you save the board, that will be there. So yeah, this is the code playground for Spoke. Lots of fun. It makes coding way easier because you can mostly just edit the templates, save it to the board straight from the browser. You don't need an IDE, you don't need any extra software. Nice and simple.